Hello Pisces, welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. We're going to dive straight into your reading today. We're going to get a look at your person's energy. I feel a lot of like realization energy, epiphany energy. Yeah, I'd go into it, but we'll see if it comes out in your reading. Got some very strong messages and pictures this morning of just like energetic shifts that happen within us when we change who we're around. So anyway, all right, let's dive in. Okay, for Pisces, please Spirit, just keep in mind these are general readings, so take what resonates and leave the rest. For Pisces, please Spirit. Yes. Okay. Yeah, Pisces, I feel like you're really heavily on someone's mind. Oh my gosh, yeah, this energy is coming out. I thought it would. You're heavily on someone's mind. You have left a big impression on someone with just energetically, what being close to you meant to them and to their life. This came through so strongly this morning when I was meditating on your energy, and it was just like someone does feel like you bring out the best in them, but it is a stretch. It is something that, you know, it's interesting because for some of you, I definitely got like someone thought they were already sort of the best of them. You know, when they met you, they thought they were pretty good. But I think it's because they were hanging out with people, or they were around people, or like, depending on what group we are, right, in, or who we're surrounding ourselves with or whatever, it's kind of like, you know, everything is relative, right? So if we typically surround ourselves with people who are not really inspiring or aspirational, or, you know, people who stretch us to discover deeper and more things about ourselves, then we can sort of rest on our laurels. We can sort of feel like, oh yeah, I'm doing great, I'm fine. And then in comparison to the people I hang out with, I'm phenomenal. Which is why when you really stretch yourself and you hang out with people who are aspirational and inspirational, it helps you to expand and grow. It helps you to stretch your belief of what you're even capable of. And it helps you even see yourself and what's possible in a different light. And I feel like you brought that to someone's life. And I feel like it was something that they didn't necessarily notice. I think that they noticed that maybe they were happy, or maybe they were feeling content, but I feel like they had gotten so comfortable in their positioning in life that, you know, this just felt like the next natural step. It didn't feel like something that you brought into their life. But in your absence, it feels as though this person is reflecting upon this and realizing what your energy brought into their life. I hope that makes sense. It actually showed me this like a video game, and like our life force energy, and it was kind of like The Sims, if you know The Sims. I don't really know The Sims, but one of my daughter's friends played it, and I saw it as she was explaining it to me one time. But it was kind of like that, but it was showing me like life force energy, and it was showing like how high we can take our life force by like eating right and exercising and doing the things that we know help fuel our body. And then it was showing me like what we can do when we fuel our mind and we fuel ourselves spiritually. Whether that's going to church for you, or practicing yoga, or meditating, or all of the above, or whatever, and how we can raise our life force energy in that way. And then it's the people who we're connecting with, and what that does to our life force energy. And it was showing me like a connection between two people, and then the removal of the person and that person's life force energy and what happened to it. And where it left this person. And so I hope that makes sense for you. You know, it's always very phenomenally interesting to me. And so anyway, I feel like this person is really thinking about you. They're really missing you. This is giving me, this hold me card is giving me this energy of you hold on to people who make you feel like this. You hold on to your happiness. You hold on to people who increase your life force energy. These people are glowing, you know, and they understand each other. And, you know, there's a really deep connection and understanding. It's almost as if they don't need words. Like, that's the energy I get from them. And there's the happiness of being understood all of the time, of, you know, not needing to explain yourself, of not needing to even speak, but to just be able to hold each other, and that closeness, that connection. Just even as I said that, I saw 2 heartbeats coming into synchronicity. I feel like this person, it's like they watched you walk away. And since they watched you walk away, it's as if the universe is just, they may see your name places, they may see angel numbers places, they may smell your smell places, they may, you know, and I almost feel like they're searching for it, like they're looking for it, like they're even looking for you in everything all the time. I feel as though this person is very, you know, it's almost that kind of obsessed energy where it's like, it's always right there, you know? It's not obsessed like, I can't live my life, but it's obsessed like, you're always in the forefront. You're just never far from their mind and their heart. I mean, it's really just giving me that energy. So all signs are like leading them to follow you, to chase you, to get you back. You have this message of love. I feel guided to read this. I just need to find some glasses. Here we go. Okay, I am thinking about you, my love, even though you think I am not. I miss you every day, at day and night. I am curious to know what you have been doing. How did your day go by without me? Sometimes I wonder, do you even think about me? I'm feeling the urge to reach out to you, my love. I will promise, and I will promise. So this person, wow, underneath that is my world. It's as if this person, I want to say kind of like took you for granted, even though it's really not that. It's that it was so subtle a shift in their life, but it was so meaningful. And I feel like they didn't realize the source of the shift was you. Like it's like it just happened, and it just felt like the next natural step. They just did not realize that it was your presence in their life. I just keep getting that so strongly. But it was like the minute you walked away, they knew. They felt it. They were like, oh no. And I feel like they have not ever really, I want to say gotten over it, but it's not even that. It's deeper than that. The absence is felt all the time. Okay, let's see what we got here. Look at that beautiful couple. Oh my gosh. That is the dream, right? I really think it is. Whew, yeah. Oh, see, I this morning I was getting realizations. And then you have that card on the bottom of your deck. Yeah, you know, I feel it's almost as if this person took you to your breaking point. I feel, and I think it was with a little bit of an avoidant energy here. For some of you, it is definitely an avoidant attachment style that your person has, or fear, or something that like literally caused them to run. For other people, I am definitely getting the sense of someone who is always running. They're always in this energy of moving on to the next thing. I have to keep going. Like, their life is very full, or there's a lot expected of them, or they expect a lot of themselves in other areas of their life. So it's like you're always trying to catch this person, or, and, like with the heart fog energy, it feels like they had somewhat unclear priorities. Well, if you don't understand what someone is bringing to your life, and that the emotional contentment and happiness you feel as a result of the connection that you have with a person, then you're not really going to prioritize it. And it feels like, Pisces, I don't know, but I feel as though you reached your breaking point, and as much as it pained you and ached and hurt for you, and it's like you knew it was going to hurt when you did it, I do feel like you either pulled away, or you walked away, or you expressed your expectations or your needs or your desires, or you finally came to the conclusion that this person in this energy was not capable, or wasn't rising to meet the occasion of you, or wasn't going to give you what you deserve. And instead of prolonging it, instead of continuing to sort of let them be in this energy and sort of accommodate it, or, like continue to give so much to the situation, I feel like you reached your breaking point. You set a limit, you reached your final straw, you got overwhelmed, and you put the smack down, I mean, that's how I feel. There's like a cutting off point of, as much as I love you and as much as I know this is gonna hurt, I have to protect myself, or I have to guard myself, or I have to have my own boundaries. I have a breaking point. You may have internally even set like a deadline or a limit, and this person, crossed it again. I honestly feel like there is, with the heart fog and the running, it's like you may have told this person over and over and over again, like, I don't mind doing this, but I need a commitment. Or maybe I do mind doing this. I need a commitment. I mean, I need to know that there is some greater investment that's happening here, or, this stuff that keeps taking your attention. I mean, maybe even if they were hanging out with people who were lower vibrational than you, you couldn't hang out with those people because they were not a vibrational match to you. Or, and so, it was like, I feel, Pisces, you recognized something. I'm getting a very high priestess, higher level wisdom, intuitive energy here, where it's kind of like, I'm seeing this for what it is, and I know that I'm seeing something that you're not seeing here. And I know it's kind of like, I know where this could take me, and I'm not willing to go there. I've been there before, and I'm not going there again. Or, I just know what I'm worth, and I know what I deserve, and I know I deserve more than this. And I feel that you gave this person the opportunity to realize this. Like, you definitely tried to communicate it. I think that's why they're getting clarity and realizations now, because I think now that they're missing you, they're finally slowing down and prioritizing this and looking at this and going, holy crap, this is what Pisces was saying. I was like, I'm getting the word disrespecting Pisces, or the connection, or whatever. And it's like, Pisces, there is this energy that I'm getting of balance in the universe. And, when a connection comes together, it has that opportunity to, it sort of comes together in its own sort of balance, unless there is, unless it's like, a superstar dealing with a regular person, or, you know what I mean? Unless there's some big, huge disparaging thing. It kind of comes together in a balanced way. It's like, there you are, a sovereign being. Here I am, a sovereign being. Like, let's find out where this can go. But when someone is in this energy, it begins to become imbalanced, right? And it's like, Pisces, I see you having this knowing of, this is becoming imbalanced. If I stay in this, eventually it's going to become so imbalanced that the universe won't support it. And any opportunity I had with this person to have a healthy relationship or to love them or for this to work out in this life is going out the window with it. Like, that's how I'm really seeing it. It's like it may not have consciously clicked all of those things, but for some of you, it definitely did. And it was kind of like, I can cut this off now and spare myself any additional pain and additional wasted time. And also prevent this from going so far that this relationship no longer has an opportunity to flourish. It feels like a very high level perspective, which is very high priestessly, because most of the time as humans, how we feel about someone, or, dare I say, oxytocin, and dopamine and the different chemical reactions that we have when we connect with people intimately, they fog our vision. And sometimes it makes it very difficult for us to make that difficult decision or to see it from such a high level perspective. But, this is really giving me, like, you listened to your intuition, you made this. I feel like possibly in the past you did not listen to your intuition and you learned the hard way. And maybe the promise that you made to yourself after that connection is, I will always listen to my intuition. If my intuition is telling me something, as hard as it is and as bad as I know it's going to hurt my human being part, and even my soul part, when you're dealing with soulmates, I am going to stay true to my intuition. And I feel like that was your saving grace. I feel like that was kind of monumental, to be honest with you. That's how it's coming across to me. All right, so let's dive in with the Spiritual Love Tarot and see what happens here. Spirit, what can you tell us? I am going to just move these out of view because I am feeling really guided to do like a 9-card spread. So that is what we're going to do. But I want access to these. All right, here we go. So for Pisces, please, Spirit, can you show us 9 cards? For Pisces, please, Spirit, 9 cards. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. All right, so we're starting off with the 10 of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune. Something had to change. You have 2 10s and the Page of Pentacles here. There was a spiritual lesson. See, Pisces, it's like you were feeling very burdened. You were carrying the weight. Wow. 3 10s showing up in your reading. Wow. Woo! And the World card. This was the completion of a major cycle for you. Okay. I'm going to move these up because I know you can't see them. Oh, whoa. Yeah, this person's having a major, massive wake-up call. Major, massive realizations and clarity. Holy crap. You guys had realizations and you had the card of clarity. And now you have the Tower with the Page of Swords coming out together. And that is like, woo, aha moment. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this person is really... With the 5 of Pentacles in the center of your spread, when that came out, I got, like, I don't want to have regrets. And it's sort of that balance point of what will I regret more? Because once you begin to care about someone, it's like you do just want to be close to them. You want to be with them. You want to spend time with them. You don't want what is good to end. But there comes a point when you realize this is becoming too burdensome. This is becoming too draining. This is taking more than it's giving, or it's getting dangerously close to that point. And I've alerted the other person to that, and they're not getting it. So, or they're for whatever reason, wow, for some of you, I just got this energy of ego and pride, and like someone not being able, it's like, oh, since this is your idea, or since you're asking for it, I can't give it to you. And wow, how crazy. Where that came from was actually a point of insecurity of, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm worthy of this. Or even fear to even ask and be rejected. And then it's like you bring it up and their ego and pride take over, and that insecurity gets triggered, and they come from a place of ego and pride where they're like, oh, this is your idea, or this is something there. It's almost like they're forcing me into this, or even though I don't feel that you were, Pisces, it's just an energy of kind of, it's not my idea. But I think they had the idea, they just didn't act upon it. And now it's like all these things are just becoming so clear to this person. And it is like their world is shaken. Definitely. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so let's just come back to the beginning. We have this 10 of Wands energy. The messages I'm telling you today, I don't know what it is about today. March 9th. Oh, it is two extremely special Piscean friends' birthdays today. Happy birthday to you both if you're watching. I adore you both. But to all of you whose birthday it is today, happy birthday. But this just feels very significant today, does. And maybe this person is like attending a church service, or feeling very spiritual, or maybe their life has slowed down, or maybe you used to do things together on Sundays, or I don't know, but there's an energy of slowness where there isn't anywhere to hide, or there isn't anywhere to there isn't anything to take up the space, or to take the focus, or to pull me away from thinking about this. It's burdening your person heavily today. I'm feeling so strongly here. But you have the 10 of Wands with the Page of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune. And, for you, I feel like Pisces, this got to a place where it was burdensome, and where it was like, it is the last thing this person wants to do, to let go. You can just feel it in her energy, but she's got no choice. It's become so burdensome that she has to let go. And also, the 10 of Wands, like a lot of times in love readings, symbolizes all of the burdens that we have picked up along the way in our journey of love that are now kind of blocking us from having love. And this 10 of Wands feels super significant because it's with the Page of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune. We always have the opportunity to change the cycle we're on by making a different decision. And we make those different decisions by learning spiritual lessons, and by experiencing it, by gaining our own clarity, by having our own understanding, and by then implementing that, or integrating that knowledge, that wisdom, that discernment, and then activating it by utilizing it in the real world to make a different decision with our free will, right? So it's like this person is like, oh no, this is starting to go in that direction, or it's already in this direction. And I know where this is going to go. I've learned this lesson many times. I promised myself, a new cycle. I promised myself I was going to listen to my intuition. I am ready to complete this cycle. This is going to suck so bad. This is so hard, but I have to complete this cycle. I have to love myself more than I have in the past, and I have to choose what is in my highest and best good at this moment. And wow, that Wheel of Fortune is saying, you make this decision, you learn this lesson, you integrate this lesson, And, you know, you are going to receive a different experience. That's kind of the guarantee of the universe, right? And so we see this so completely here because you have the World card with the Five of Pentacles in reverse and the Ten of Cups upright. And it's like, I'm not going to, what it's giving me is kind of accept half-ass. I'm not going to go into this blindly trusting that like longevity or doing without or compromising or it is going to give me what I want. I've already wasted too much time like that. I've already learned too much. You can see how vulnerable this person is. I mean, she doesn't have clothes on and she's got this book where she's reviewing like past experiences and past chapters, and she's being really honest with herself and really vulnerable here. And, you know, this is a really difficult energy because when people don't rise to meet our occasion, and we're empathetic and introspective people, it cuts to that primal fear that we have that we are not worthy, or that this is another confirmation, another external validation that we were not enough, or that we are not good enough, or that it's another chapter in the same book, right? But the only, and so to be this vulnerable and this raw, even with ourselves, to allow ourselves to sort of go there and be like, this person's not going to commit, or this person isn't going to rise to meet our occasion, however that is, whatever that is. It does feel like a commitment, especially with that Page of Pentacles, but it doesn't have to be. It could be something else. It's like, you know, it can be a matter of priorities. Like maybe they're committed technically, but they're not making you a priority, or they're not showing up for you, or they're not honoring you. Sorry guys, I think I'm getting some kind of delivery. Sorry, he's really upset about it. The thing is, you know, this is a very vulnerable position, right? Because our initial reaction is usually very human and very emotional. And it is that moment, us with us, where we go, no, not again. No, not again. I do not want the world to show me one more time that I'm not worthy, or that I'm not enough, or that here again, I have given my everything. I've been completely vulnerable. I have done my best. I have stretched myself. And this is another chapter in my book that's just telling me they weren't willing to give it to me either, you know? And now begins a healing process, right? But what eventually, you know, when you really move beyond that, right? When you move beyond that sort of initial energy, that really human emotional response, you remember, right, that this is not a reflection of you or your worthiness or your ability to love or your ability to be a good partner. This is a reflection of that person. You were there. You were hanging in. You were doing your part. You were considering compromising big things in order to have what you wanted, or the potential to have what you wanted with this person. And in the end, it was you who had to choose yourself and your own happiness and the greater good of your journey. And so instead of regretting giving so much of yourself to this person, you're risking regretting pulling your energy back and loving yourself. That's what you're risking, and that's not really a risk. Anytime we choose ourselves and we're this vulnerable, we're this raw, we're this real and truthful and honest with ourselves, anytime we choose ourselves and we choose to love ourselves again, the universe hears you, the universe responds. And the universe, because when you're loving yourself, do you know what you're loving? You're loving your divinity. You're loving God himself. You're loving the universe itself. You're honoring creation. You're honoring your uniqueness. You're honoring the gift that you are and that you have been given, this miraculous experience as a spiritual being having a human experience. That's what you're honoring with that choice. And that's why you don't regret that choice. Because when you honor divinity and you honor yourself as a sacred being, then you call that energy to you. You call that energy in spades. And even if you're alone, and even if you're alone for a moment, right? You know that you did the right thing for yourself. And in those lonely moments, in those moments where you're like, man, I wish I really had somebody, or gosh, there's a new restaurant that opened up down the street, I wish I could go with somebody. And even if you think of that person and you go, gosh, if we were together, they would love that restaurant, they would want to go there with me. You still go, but damn, I chose myself. I love myself. I'll take myself there. Yeah, it would be nice to share the experience, but damn, I love my own company. I'm not afraid to go out by myself. I'll go do it myself. Maybe I'll meet someone. You know what I mean? Like you bounce back. You are far more resilient when you choose yourself. So there's this energy, and you become really a badass in a lot of ways, because you're like, man, I make hard choices. I make healthy choices. I am honest with myself. I am vulnerable with myself. I am real here. And I know what I want. I want to be able to be with someone who can share emotional contentment with me. And the only thing that I have ever rejected or been rejected by were situations that were not going to take me there. At least not in their current form, or in the form that they were in initially. So by choosing myself, all I'm doing is giving myself a better and a better and a better chance to actually end up in the type of connection that leads me to greater emotional contentment than I can experience on my own. So, you're taking yourself to all the right places. Your person, on the other hand, you had to make the tough choice leading up to that moment, right? You had to sit in the heaviness, in the quandary, in the confusion, in the difficulty, as those burdens sort of stacked up. And as you said to yourself, I'm actually not willing to take on more burdens. I'm actually not willing to put myself in these positions that actually lead me to have more barriers against what I want instead of bringing me closer to what I want. And so I actually have to let this go. But your person, once you make that choice and once you verbalize it, once you say that, once you offer it to this person and say, look, I'm sorry, or I'm not sorry, I gave you the chance, I hoped, I tried, I gave it my best, but I cannot make this compromise anymore. I cannot do this anymore. I know my worth, I know my value, and I've learned this lesson so many times. This is where we're at. This is where this has left me. Sorry, I have to make this tough decision because I'm really going for this 10 of Cups. Then your person has to sit with this energy of, whoa, she thinks I'm not her 10 of Cups. She thinks, or he thinks, or they think, I'm not capable of emotional contentment with them. And, for someone who's bebopping around in life thinking that they're doing really good and thinking that they're better than the people they surround themselves with and is feeling kind of confident about that, that can cause a real conflict within them of how is it that this person sees me so differently than I see myself? Or, maybe they, I'm getting like rejection does weird things to us, but it's weird because it's not that I feel like you were rejecting them. I feel like you were rejecting a situation, or even a situationship, or like friends with benefits, or it's just something that wasn't meeting your standard. It didn't feel right, And this is leading them to, with the Page of Pentacles, it's leading them to the potential to learn their own spiritual lesson, to get their own kind of gift from this situation. The lesson that you're offering them through loving yourself. With the Wheel of Fortune here, this has the potential to bring about a change, but it's definitely happening for them, and happening for them at this time for a reason. And the faster they come to that conclusion, the faster they wake up and realize that, the more kind of opportunity they have to sort of bring a change, a monumental shift to the connection itself. If they want to save it, if they want to resurrect it, if they want to, kind of infuse it with new life or new energy or new potential. So we have this World card following the wheel, which is telling me that potential is here in this connection, and it does exist, and it is happening relatively quickly, because we're going from this change that occurs at this time for a reason to the completion of the cycle. Boom, like that. Boom, boom, like the wheel, the world. And then, we have this Five of Pentacles and it's in reverse, where it's like, now this person is faced with regret. What are they willing to regret? Are they willing to regret losing you, missing out on a huge opportunity at emotional contentment? Or are they willing to regret, possibly being rejected? One, you do get over because it's an injury to your pride. It's an injury to your ego. And if you're able to lean into that and really look at that, it can teach you a lot about your wounding and where you can grow, where you can expand yourself in this life to become actually much more stronger. But if you don't, and you allow your pride and your ego to make these decisions for you, then you kind of tend to hold on to that for a very long time, like pretty much the rest of your life. It's a heavy, lower vibrational energy that you're potentially overcoming repeatedly. Those decisions are the decisions that we make that come back to us in quiet moments, that come back to us when we're washing the dishes or vacuuming or doing laundry or driving. The one that got away, that chance we had at the dream, at this. And someone who just understands us, our soft place to fall, that person that eventually we can just be near and not even need words with. And the thing is, you have this Queen of Wands. And so Pisces, because of the decision that you are making, you are in a very attractive energy. You're in a magnetic energy. You are embodying the law of attraction. You are setting sparks off all over the place. When you make big choices like this, it does increase your attractiveness to people. It's in your aura, it's in your energy, but it also increases your attractiveness to the universe, right? Because you've honored your divinity. And the universe is like, what can we give Pisces as a reward? What is Pisces asking us for that's in their highest and best? But this person's desire has not gone. This person is still desiring you. This person is still attracted to you. Maybe even they could be more attracted to you, because when you love yourself in that way, it's attractive. I mean, it just is. You have the Tower and the Page of Swords, and so this person, their desire could be intensifying, and their wake-up call of, wow, which thing am I going to choose to regret here? Is this something that, I like, am I willing to risk my pride? Am I willing to risk it for a moment of rejection? Or am I willing to endure a lifetime of regret because I didn't act at all, because I didn't say anything, because I let a chance at emotional contentment, which does not come around every day. I mean, Pisces, that for sure. This could have been the completion. This could have been the end of the road for me on this difficult journey of love. I could have found my person and my partner, but I let them go. I let them get away. And I have to live with that every day of my life. And I may never find someone to take their place. You know what I'm saying? This is a huge wake-up call. This is a huge earth-shifting thing. And it also feels to me that it's sort of knocking this person off their pedestal, where it's like they thought they were doing so good. This is like, oh, really? Here's your wake-up call. We introduced someone that was inspirational and aspirational to you, who caused you to stretch yourself, who brought in a different, higher frequency vibration that made you feel like $1,000,000, and you shit on it. You know, how good are you really doing? Where are you really at? Like, let's be real. And this person is feeling very locked out. This is giving me that movie theater energy that I was telling you about. You have the Eight of Wands and the Three of Pentacles here, which is someone wanting to have a conversation about sharing a vision, sharing a plan, and building something collaboratively for the long term, like really investing. You have the Seven of Cups on the bottom of the deck, and you know, wow, with the Hierophant. See, for me, this is giving popping a question. You have the Seven of Wands underneath that, 2 sevens. So this is, you know, Taurus energy, but it's really giving me this energy of, what's going to happen here. It's possible. You have the Seven of Wands, which is, you know, I may just block myself from this energy. I may just try to act like I don't see this, I don't know this, and shut myself down, block myself off. Or I can open myself up to a deeper level of commitment into accepting this emotional contentment into my life and into my world, and say officially in front of everyone, I have found my person. My journey for finding love is over. It ends right here. I'm committing to this path. Okay. I'm just gonna ask the universe to show us what is the best possible outcome at this time with this person. What is the best possible outcome at this time with this person, please, Spirit? You guys seriously cannot have a reading without the freaking Temperance card. Woo! Okay. Right now, you've got somebody in their head. I mean, big time. You got the King of Swords, you have the Ten of Swords, and you have the Eight of Swords on the bottom of the deck. This is someone who their own thought process, or this is like I'm sure this has happened to all of you, when you get into kind of an intrusive pattern of thinking where you're like, how can I make this work? You know, and then your mind goes around to, okay, well, I could try this. And then, you know, your ego and your pride go, that's pretty risky. You know, you need to find something that's less risky. And then you go, okay, well, what about this? And your ego and your pride is like, well, that's probably not going to work. You know, that's probably going to take you back to where you were, or even lower than that. You could lose a lot of money. You could lose your pride. You could lose this, you could lose that. And then you go, okay, what about this? And with each one of these thoughts, it's like you're coming back around to non-action. You're coming back to stagnancy. You're coming back to this self-entrapment. to being a slave to this way of thinking. And it just continues. It's like the thought comes up of, well, I would really like to reach out to Pisces, or I'd really like to, see where this relationship could go, or I'd like to, and it leads them back around and back around and back around to the same place. This is a minor arcana, so it is something that once we have insight into the fact that we're doing this, we can become mindfully aware and change that cycle. You do have the Knight of Cups underneath that Eight of Swords, and you do have the Ten of Swords and the King of Swords. The Ten of Swords is the completion of a really difficult cycle, and then King of Swords is where we master our own thoughts and our own way of thinking, right? So, these are two cards that say that this is an overcomable energy, and especially with that Six of Swords, it gives us an alternate. It gives us a way out. It gives us a way to, a path to a different way to see things. And may not always know where that's going to go, right? You can see that, like, this almost looks like a dead end, but clearly it goes beyond that point. There may be a little bend or a curve or something that we can't see yet. But, it's giving a way out to this self-entrapment. It's giving away a clear path, a clear way of thinking that can lead us toward bravery, toward, completing this difficult cycle, sort of blowing it up and moving on, setting ourselves free even, I'm getting with that sword or knife or whatever. I do see with the Moon card and the Emperor card, there is an energy here of like deep feelings sort of taking away our sense of control or our sense of strength. Feelings weaken us, right? Because, it's like, I mean, if you watch any kind of like classic movie, like especially like, I don't know, a war movie or something where, I don't know, maybe there's like a battle scene and the buddy gets hit with fire and can't move. And the choice becomes, oh my gosh, do I risk my own life to go out there and to get that buddy and to pull them back? And it's like, I love that buddy, and I know that buddy has a wife and a son and a mother, and I gotta go, all of these things are playing into it because you have feelings for this person. So they go out and risk their lives and really risk weakening themselves by taking on fire, or by what are they going to do when they get that person back to safety? They still got to carry them back to the, whatever camp or tent or wherever they came from, tank or whatever. They got to get them all the way back. So, if there's a long walk or a long hike, they're going to have to drag them or put them on their back or, do something to get them back. Feelings make us weak. If we didn't feel for that person, we'd have no problem leaving them bleeding there on the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't take the bodily harm or the risk to ourselves. We would choose self-love in that moment instead of love of another person, right? So there's this energy with the Moon and the Emperor and the way that interplays. And the Moon is so much more than like deep hidden feelings, something that someone can't express because they think it will weaken them in some way. It's also the subconscious and the subconscious beliefs that we have that interfere with our highest and best judgment to make decisions, right? So like, if I know I can experience emotional contentment with you, and that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I want in life, and I know how rare it is, and I know that I've already been seeking and searching for it, and I haven't found it, and I found it in you, and I have this opportunity in front of my face, and I don't choose it, where the hell does that come from? Well, it comes from our subconscious. It comes from these beliefs that we're not aware of that control the choices that we make in real life. And so, if someone really has this subconscious belief that feelings make them weak, or that feelings are going to somehow be the death of them or the end of them, or, are going to put them in situations that they're not really, willing to sort of take on, or, and they have some kind of self-preservation belief also in their subconscious, well, then it's really easy to see that they're going to choose what keeps them strong and makes them feel like they're in control, even when they're staring at everything that they ever wanted in front of them, right? So we see the conflict, we see the sort of the drama that's playing out here. You know, the moon is a very dramatic energy right here with this 10 of Swords and Emperor energy. But what we have to balance it out is this Temperance energy. And this Temperance energy is so beautiful. It is, you know, finding that balance. And when we find that balance, and when we are true to ourselves, and when we seek to maintain that balance, that pillar of consciousness, that pillar of integrity within us, of alignment between, you know, what we feel, what we believe, what we want, what we know, and our actions, then we make choices that continue to bring more balance to us. And you see that feather? I'm getting consciousness is like a feather. And you see here with the Queen of Pentacles, this is someone making decisions based on their worth and their value. They're not going to receive something that is less than what they deserve. And in that way, they're maintaining their own inner balance. And that's where I see you, Pisces, with that Five of Pentacles in reverse. You're light as a feather, you know, and it may not always feel that way, because you're going to grieve, you're going to be sad, you're going to wonder if you did the right thing, you're going to have those moments of introspection where you're like, why does this always happen to me? You know, why can't I just find someone who's willing to choose me? Well, you will. When you choose yourself, that's what you're attracting to you, and you're in a very strong energy of attracting just that and manifesting it with that Queen of Wands energy that we see as a result of these choices of closing out this cycle, right? With this King of Swords, you know, this is someone who, you know, the King of Swords is a highly aligned being, you know. He deprioritizes his emotions, yes, and can be, and he may not always express what he feels, but his actions are in alignment with what is true. And so even if he can't come to you and say, I love you, I'm sorry, I messed up, I made the wrong choice, I was in my ego, I was in my pride, I didn't see it. They may come to you and they may say, you know what, I made a mistake. I think the King of Swords can admit that. And I didn't do what I knew was best. I didn't do what was right at that time. Please give me the opportunity to make it right. Let me show you. You know, and they are capable of communicating what it is they learned. It just may not be with a lot of emotion or a lot of passion or a lot of, you know, it's cold, it's precise, it's surgical, it's practiced, it's probably pretty articulate and logical and analytical, but it's not emotional and it's not filled with passion and desire, you know, but it is aligned. So, and it is definitely communication. And it is through like talking. So, I do see that, you know, ending this with the Eight of Wands and the Three of Pentacles, and then asking what the best possible outcome is, and seeing, you know, the completion of this cycle. This is what held it back. This was the obstacle. Some way of thinking that this person had that kept leading them back to the same place. And that same place was powerlessness and confusion and entrapment, self-entrapment. You know, and this person is finding an alternate way of thinking that they can be at peace with. And that is closing out this really difficult cycle, and it is empowering them to take control of their thoughts instead of allowing their thoughts to control them. You're either a slave to your thoughts or you are not, you know. So Pisces, my best possible outcome at this time is that you hold on to yourself and your integrity and your alignment, and this person is either going to come into alignment, and step up and make decisions that are hard. And I don't know that they are going to reveal their feelings, because I don't see that here. But I do feel like they will come in with communication that is in alignment with those feelings. So they may not express them directly, but it is something where you will at least know it, and their behavior and their actions will be in alignment with that. So, you know, if they weren't willing to commit before, they may be. But with Temperance, this is an honest and authentic coming together with another person. So if you hold on to yourself, you're going to cause them to rise into their highest form of self, and that will make it possible for this to be healed and for this to come together in a balanced way again. All right. Let me get you some messages. If you're dealing with a water sign, triggered, honest, be patient with me, please. These changes are real, guarded. If you are dealing with a fire sign, oh my gosh, okay. Fire sign has all kinds of energy. I am working on myself. Wishy-washy. Okay, this person, that feels like non-committal energy. Blocking. I don't want to miss my chance with you. Good intentions. I had no idea you would end up meaning so much to me. I can't walk away. I am choosing you. Okay, someone's working through a whole lot right there. Okay, if you're dealing with an earth sign, indecisive. I regret how I handled things before. Regret. Okay, heavy regret energy. They're fantasizing. Suddenly, all the songs I hear are about you. We saw that signs energy. Yeah, here. And I got that very strongly. It's like the moment you walked away, it's like everything became about you. Guilt. Wait for me. And if you're dealing with an air sign, you are hard to forget. My karmic story is ending. I am trying to figure things out, and I just need more time. All right, Pisces, this is what I have for you today. I hope it helps. I hope it brings you some peace and clarity. I do feel, Pisces, you are heavily on someone's mind and in their heart, and I think that you have triggered a major realization, awakening, tower moment for this person, which ultimately is a very incredible gift to give someone, the opportunity for clarity and the opportunity to change the things that are not working for them and to have those enlightened and illuminated for them. And so it can sometimes be the person, it's hard to be the person that does that for other people when you walk away brokenhearted. But Pisces, I do think that the universe has a huge reward in store for you, for choosing your divinity, for honoring it, this miracle, this life, your worth, your value. So hang tight, because it's a coming. All right, this is what I have for you. Until next time, guys, I send you off with all my very best. Always, always, always. Bye-bye.